I know.
In the middle.
No. Oh, did I smash it? Oh,
Reinforcements. Eliminate whoever's left.
bro, his face like it ripped off.
What is going on, everybody? It is your boy Nothing But Skills, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how to spec your LMG build for the post patch. So the patch that is coming up that's going to nerf a lot of things, how to make your LMG still work like this. So if you guys look at my LMG right now, it's at 32.3k. Then I have my MG5 that's at 17.6k. This is my Rambo build that I put out a while back, but we're actually going to respec it so that way you guys can use it once they nerf a lot of things. Because if you guys haven't heard, if we go to my chest piece, Unbreakable's getting nerfed. It's going to require a lot of defense, and we'll get into how much in the video. Berserk's getting nerfed. There's a bunch of different talents that are going to require more specs to unlock. So you might need 11 defense, or you might need 11 offense to unlock certain things. So the way I have mine set up is the same way that you run the build now, and you're only going to lose about 3,000 damage. So the difference between how it's going to work in the next patch is about 3,000 damage. And then of course, if they nerf damage overall for all guns, which I heard they are going to do for normalized PvP. So let's take a look at it and we'll see how it is. So I'm going to switch to that build real quick. Back out, go back in. Okay, so now I'm able to run my talents with this because I have 3 offensive, 11 defensive, and 3 skill. And that's what you're going to need to run this build. You're going to have 3 offensive, 11 defensive minimum, and then whatever skill power you want on there. So it should come out to 3, 11, 3. So let's get into the 2 weapons I'm using and show you what the damage is. So you see the big difference between running my 5, I think it was 5, 8, 3 versus 3, 11, 3 is about 3,000 damage. So my black market M60 is still going to do about 31,000. Now it has unhinged on here. Now this is going to drop my weapon damage by 5% because unhinged did take a 5% damage. It's only going to give you 20% weapon damage, but it's going to give you negative 25% weapon handling versus 35%. So it's going to be a little bit easier to control. I have Allegro on here, which I recommend for all LMGs, except the MG5. You don't need to have Allegro on the MG5. And then for the bottom talent, it's Everlasting. While holstered and in cover, this weapon regenerates 2 ammo every 5 seconds. So the way I recommend you guys having this is put some accuracy on the scope, add that reload speed, put some stability on there, and then for the muzzle, put some more stability. But I actually like running the large suppressor. For some reason, I just like it. If you guys want that stability on there, you can. So I'm going to switch to accuracy here, and then I think I'm going to go to 5% stability. Yep. So I will only have 5% stability. So if you want to get the maximum, it would be better to put accuracy here. I'm going to lose 5 stability because I like having a silencer on my weapons. And the way I have my MG5 is it has 16.6k base damage. It has unhinged on there. Remember, it's going to be 20% instead of 25%. I like having extra 20% magazine capacity because that's going to give me 10 extra bullets. And if you guys play with the MG5 at all, you guys know that those 10 extra bullets can make a difference because the bullets are so fast that you really don't need to have any more rate of fire on here. Now, some of you, if you can control the MG5 perfectly fine and you think 50 rounds is perfect, then put that Allegro on there. The way I use it is I use my black market M60. If they start to take off or they go around the corner, I'll switch to my MG5 and that can just mow them down pretty quick. Now the way I have this modded is I am running the 5% stability on the scope, I'm running the reload speed, and then I'm running stability on the angle grip. So I have 2 stability mods and the reload speed. Some of you guys might say, why not use the critical hit damage? Because you don't need that. You're not really going to be stacking any critical hit chance on this build. And then for the pistol, you guys need to find a pistol with this. It's called Greased. While holster, weapon swap speed is increased by 10%. So that's going to help the weapon swap speed between the MG5 and the M60. So if you can find one that has that, that is actually a really good talent. Now another talent I like running is Stop, Drop, and Roll. While equipped, rolling removes burning, bleed, and poisonous status effects. That's a good one too because a lot of people are starting to use those flame turrets. I personally like Greased, while holster weapon swap speed is increased by 10%. Now you can see my armor is 221,000. My health is 70,000, and I believe this is getting a buff once the patch drops, so my armor should be a little bit higher and my health should be a little bit higher. Now let's get into the gear. One thing you guys want to pay attention to is the attributes. Attributes are going to be key because I got to hit that 11 defensive, right? And then I have to stay under 3 offensive. So for the mask, you're going to want 2 defensive attributes. So whatever mask you can get, if you can get something like this, Douglas and Harding, that has 2 defensive, this might be a little bit better because you get that 5% accuracy. I have 10% skill power, which I'm never really going to use on this build, but it's the one that works with my build. So if you can find maybe a Douglas and Harding or a different mask that has an attribute that you want, but you do need to have 2 defensive. Now for the talents, 20% skill duration. I don't mind having this because a lot of times I run that fixer drone and it'll stay up 20% longer. So that's not too bad for me, but do I really need that there? No. If you guys want to put something else like 10% health on kill, you guys decide that part. But the main key point for the mask is 2 defensive, and that's going to keep me at that 11 defensive. So I have hazard protection and health. Now for the chest piece, the unbreakable is what got changed. So in the next patch, unbreakable for PvE is going to give you 70% of max armor is repaired when armor is depleted. Armor kit is not consumed within 7 seconds. Now, for DZ normalized, it's going to be 25%. So once you guys get your armor broken, it's still going to be 25%, but it's going to last 7 seconds. So your armor kits used within the next 7 seconds are not consumed, but now it requires 11 or more blue, which is defense. So you need to have 11 defense to unlock unbreakable in the next patch. So my recommendation is get some really good rolls on your attributes. You want to get at least 2 offensive and 1 defensive. If you can get something else on there, that's a god roll. I got critical hit chance, weapon damage, bonus armor, and skill power. I would like to have headshot damage on here instead of critical hit chance because this isn't a critical hit chance build, but it's what rolled on here. But I'm happy with the weapon damage. I'm happy with the bonus armor. And I can't really modify anything because I modified unbreakable on here. And then it has a utility mod that's going to give me an additional 114 skill power, 2% increased blind duration, and 1% increased shock duration. Now, when we get into the holster, this is something I wish I had defensive mod slots. I'm not 100% sure if you can get a Gilligard with defensive mod slots, but most of the Gilligard's holsters that I get have offensive mod slots. But I like it because of the total armor. So this is going to give me 5% total armor. I recommend having at least 1 piece of Gilligard. And then the 20% hazard protection is going to help me with that bleed, blind. Status effects will be in that category of hazard protection. This is another one that you need 2 defensive. So you're going to have health and health on kill. On your holster and on your mask, you want to get the defensive rolls because that's going to help you hit that 11 defensive a lot easier. Now, if this was a perfect roll and I could get some defensive mod slots here, it would just increase my armor and my health. But I got offensive mod slots and I can't put any mod slots on here because if I do, I'll be above that 3 offensive. So we got to stay at 3 offensive. Remember that. Now, the reason we have to stay at 3 offensive is because we are still using Safeguard, and Safeguard took a nerf too. Now, some of you guys might say, why don't you run a different piece instead of Safeguard now that it's nerfed? It's still pretty good. It's not OP like it was, but they did drop it from 150% to 50%. So killing a target grants 50% bonus to repairing and healing effects for 20 seconds. Now, the other thing they did change is it requires 3 or less offensive. So since I have a defensive mod slot, I can put that on there and have bonus armor of 2,500 and then armor on cure 2,800. But I have to stay under 3 offensive, so I can't use that other offensive slot. Now you're going to want to get 2 defensive slots on here. I got 2 defensive slots and then a skill power, so I get that bonus armor, that health, and then I get cooldown reduction. Now you want to get 10% armor on your backpack because you can't get it on your chest piece if you're running a Petrov chest, because the Petrov chest will never drop 2 rolls. So far, I think the only one that's dropping 2 rolls is the assault rifle damage chest. So for the Petrov, you're only going to get 1 roll, so you'll never be able to, but that's where you want to take advantage of having that 10% armor on the backpack. Also, this is my second piece of Gilligard, so that's where I'm getting that 20% hazard protection. So for the gloves, these are the ones that I would reset. This is something that it's not a perfect roll. I really don't want another 10% hazard protection. So if I could get these Araldi gloves that give me 10% accuracy, this is what I want. It has LMG damage, but I need a defensive roll. So you're going to need an offensive and defensive roll because you need to be at 11 defensive. My goal is to find some Araldi gloves that have an offensive roll They also have a defensive role, and then I can put an offensive talent of devastating or compensating. Now, you know, compensating got bumped up. Unless they change it, it's going up to 20% versus 15%, and that's with less than 15% crit chance. And if we go to my stats, you're going to see my crit chance is 6.5 because I have that one roll of 6% crit chance, which you guys don't want to get. You want to get that headshot damage. So this is one big change I would do. These gloves would be the gloves I would want. If I could have 11 defensive and only have one slot right there, it'd be perfect. But the rolls I have, this is what I'm running with right now. And then for the knee pads, now you're going to want a defensive slot, which is going to be health. And then with this, you'll be able to unlock patience, because patience also got a nerf too. And the way it works now, you have to be in cover for 5 seconds. You need to have 9 or more blue. And since we already have 11 blue, we can still run that. Plus, I have a defensive mod slot here that's going to give me 766 health. It's going to give me 736 armor regeneration and 2,600 armor on kill. So I can still run patience, so I can still have some type of survivability. Now, my biggest concern though is really how good Safeguard will be in the next patch. This build still works really good. As you can see, I still have almost 31,000 damage. I have 16.6k with my MG5. If we go to my stats, I'm running 6% crit chance, 25% crit damage, 65% headshot damage. My reload speed is 20%. I have 35% all weapon damage, 28% LMG damage. But this is why I tell you guys, running this build, you're going to be a tank, especially with them lowering the damage overall in normalization and then raising armor and health. So that's why I think LMGs will still be the meta, and this is how I'm going to run my build. As I told you guys, it's not flawless, and I'm still working on it. And as soon as I get the perfect rolled everything, I'll drop that build for you. But I'm still on the hunt for some Araldi gloves that have 2 stats on there. Maybe I'll even run True Patriot. I haven't 100% decided what will be better, because I know Safeguard did take 100% bonus to repairing nerf, so it has 50% now. But with this, you can run all 3 of those stats with the updates. 3, 11, 3, you can run Safeguard, you can run Unbreakable, and you can run Patience. Let me know what you guys think of this build. If you guys have any questions on this, use the comment section down below. If you guys enjoyed this video, smash the thumbs up. And as always, guys, I just want to say thank you guys again for all the support. Hit that subscribe button if you're new to my channel. And as always, if you guys don't see me in conflict, if you don't see me in the dark zone, it's only a matter of time. Nothing but skills out.